back in the building. So grateful to be here on today. Missed you on last week, but we are back. We are back building community one episode at a time. And I am your host and your curator, Reverend T, Dr. Tag, Tawana. Who knows which one will show up today? We'll see as we chop it up together. So I ask that you hit me up in the comments. Hey, Tammy, so we can, build community together. It's not just all about me and me talking for the next 30 minutes, but it's about us. It's about us making this happen. What's up, Tony? Oh, okay, got you. Well, thank you for rocking with me on the train. I appreciate it. I love you for your commitment and your love for me. I love it. I love it. Yeah, so we have a lot to talk about today because I missed y'all last week because I was under the weather. I still have a little cough, but I just couldn't resist. I just needed to be with community on today. So let me start by plugging in my shirt that midterms effing matter. Yes. So I got this shirt from a brother who is out here in DC, Atiba Madyun. I believe his website might be Atiba Madyun Group, but I'll make sure I put it in the chat and find out where we can get these shirts from because it's so important for us to vote in the midterms. If you vote, the days of just voting once every 4 years or when it's governor or president or we need to vote excuse me during these midterms on a regular because Senate seats are up, judges, all of that. We need to make sure that we use our voice in this capacity and not let others think that they can just make up all these rules and stop us from voting and all this other stuff because we are creators, we are divine, we are powerful, and we make a way out of no way. So they have tried for years to stop us from voting, for stopping us from showing up with our authentic selves, dehumanizing us, judging us because of the color of our skin, and we're just not having it. We're not having it. Hey, brother. Always good to see you, brother. So, yeah, so let's get it started. Let's get it started. So, first things first, we talked about the business of midterms. We had to take care of some business first before we chop it up about the NFL halftime show. Jan, hey. Oh, I missed y'all last week. Missed you. Before we get into the halftime show, I do want to talk about my when I was under the weather. So I developed excuse me, a cough that you still hear. And so I developed it last Saturday, went to get a COVID test on Sunday. It was negative. Called my oncologist on Monday, had to cancel treatment because I had a fever and a cough. Went back on Tuesday to get a COVID test and a virus panel. Everything came back negative. Fever went away. The cough subsided a bit before I couldn't even have a conversation without coughing often. And now you'll hear one or two coughs here and there. But it was so interesting. I shared this with you because this variant is really crazy. Like if you get a COVID test too soon, you may get a false negative. If you get it too late, you may get a false negative. So you got to find that window to get a accurate positive diagnosis or an accurate negative diagnosis. It's so weird. So if you don't have any symptoms, it's challenging, taking like if somebody comes to visit you and they take a rapid test, if they don't have any symptoms, the likelihood of that test coming out negative is the percentage is greater, but then there are asymptomatic. So it's just a whole bunch of stuff So y'all just be careful. Hey Julie, yes, I'm glad I'm feeling better as well, and always good to see you pop up during this time. So the bottom line is we can't figure it all out. If you are able to get vaccinated and boosted, please do. Because whether I had COVID or not and didn't know I had it, everything was negative. I'm still vaccinated, still boosted, and I'm here. And I just rested. I rested. I took care of myself. And I'm continuing to take care of myself as I get back in to the swing of things. So I just wanted to put that out there. From her personal experience about the COVID journey and testing for COVID and rapid tests and the PCR and excuse me, I went for a PCR test, took a rapid test at home. It was negative. 2 days later, took a PCR. So yeah, it's just a lot. It's a lot. So wear your mask, wash your hands, enjoy your family. We got to learn how to live with this thing and not be so isolated to the point where we're living in fear and living in a space of isolation that is causing, depression and anxiety. And so figuring that out, I don't have the answers. That's why we have this communal dialogue and how we can stay safe but still see our family and our friends, or engage or find creative ways to engage with one another and be safe. Yes. So, the NFL halftime show. So, let me tell y'all something. And of course, I want y'all to chime in because that was my genre of music. Like my time, that was my genre of music during the time when I was in my 20s, clubbing, partying, having a good time, even early 30s. And I struggled, and my dear friend put it perfectly. She just described my experience perfectly because I was torn because I grew up on that music. And I just needed some joy. I needed, in the club, and I needed to hear Eminem. And Mary, y'all know I rock with Mary from day one. She from Yonkers, I'm from Harlem. We have crossed paths. I just love her dearly, and she was beautiful. She did a great job. And at the same time, I didn't want to like 50 because he can be an ass. Excuse me. He can be real crass. He can just be a jerk, right? But I really enjoy. So I was torn, like partying, like I really don't want to like this dude, but that was the song, when that beat dropped and it just would keep looping when you were in the club having a good time. Or Dr. Dre. I remember when he wore shiny suits back in the day and he was on the album cover like this with, Jerry Curl or whatever. He wasn't Dr. Dre then, right? But then I like him and I'm, rocking to his beats or whatever. And when he got on the piano, I got excited. And he's shitty towards women. So I didn't really want to like him. But I was still like, oh, I really don't want to like this dude. Snoop puffing on an L before he gets on stage. Other allegations that are coming up about him. So I was torn. And not to mention, y'all know I haven't watched football. I think it's been, excuse me, I think it's been 6 years now since Kaepernick took a knee and, they let him go. And so 5 or 6 years, haven't watched football. So I had my son text me when the halftime show was coming on so I can watch it. So I could kind of cheat. So I can watch the halftime show but not really watch the game itself. Oh, hey, Mother. Y'all send some love to Mother Carolyn on today. Just send her some love. Just send her some love. Just send Mother Carolyn some love. Yeah. Thank you, Mother, for watching. So I was just so torn at watching the halftime show. And I know that my boycott may not make a difference. I was talking to a dear friend a while ago when we first started talking about boycotting the NFL, and he brought up a good point. Like, they already got their ads and stuff already on lock. So you not watching it is not really going to make a difference. But for me, and for supporting a black man and supporting the racism that's going on in the NFL, my personal belief and stance and morals and values just could not, whether it impacts the ad industry or not, I just could not do it. Would I have loved for all of us to get together and really make some noise? Because as you can see, black culture was all throughout the commercials that I saw later through the Huffington Post on the halftime show. Not too crazy about what Jay-Z is doing with the halftime show and not really speaking out about the lack of diversity with black coaches, black owners, black leadership. It's a whole thing, and it just made me so tired, and I just wanted to have fun during the halftime show. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, Eminem definitely took a knee in the middle of the show. And what I appreciated about that, I don't know if it was intentional or not, but the white boy took it for the team and said, I'll take the knee. Y'all do what y'all do, and I'm gonna take the knee. And that's what we talk about, like when we do facing racism, and we talk about being an anti-racist. We talk about white people really standing guard and standing in the gap for us and speaking in places, not that we don't have a voice as the black diaspora, but there are times when we speak, we put ourselves at risk, whereas a white person may speak, they don't put themselves in as much of a risk. They're putting themselves at risk as well. Anytime you go against the status quo, anytime you go against capitalism, anytime you go against the right wing, anytime you go against patriarchy, it's going to come with some pushback. But the pushback is going to look different. We lose our lives. Somebody else might get a smack on the hand or get kicked out of a club or and it might, and I'm not minimizing what how our comrades step up for us. They do take a chance, they do take a risk. There are white people that get killed, whether it's through the civil rights movement or even up until today, when in Charlottesville, when the car, rammed into all those people. Lives are lives. Human beings are human beings. So I'm so grateful for Eminem stepping up. Julie said, you inspired me to stop watching football. The first time I haven't watched the Super Bowl in a long time. Amen. Because we in this together, Julie. We in this together. I agree it doesn't make an impact financially, but when I tell my friends why I don't watch, it leads to good discussion. Absolutely. And it leads to good discussion because there's so many false narratives out there. Like, we kneel because we don't like the military, or we kneel because we're not good patriots, or we kneel because we want y'all to stop killing us. We kneel because we're supposed to have this unalienable right to live. We kneel because there are systems and structures in place that weren't designed for us to survive and thrive to begin with, and we want changes in those systems and structures. So if you want to take it personal, when Dr. Dre said, and I still don't have love for the police, ask him why. That's when we have that epistemological curiosity, when we're able to have a dialogue. But in order to do that, you got to care. So these people don't care. Many people who are in places of power, they don't care. They don't care what we think. They don't care how we feel. They just want to make judgment and call us the N-word and degrade us and dehumanize us and go back to your and just do all these hateful things. And I just want to turn the mirror to these people and say, look at yourself. Why are you so angry? Why are you so angry with me as a black woman? Why are you so disgusted? Well, we have never done anything to you as a group, as a people. So help me to understand why you so angry with us. Or just stop it. Is the why important? Yeah, when we want to have a dialogue, yes. But just stop it, because it's actually killing us. It's killing us. So I was torn with the halftime show, because I wanted to see it for the culture. I love seeing it. It was black everything, black musicians. Anderson Paak was on the drums. Body positivity was happening. I don't know if you saw the full figured women dancing. It was beautiful to me. And at the same time, I was so torn, because I said the misogyny that still happens in the music, and how there were no women rappers. I mean, they had Mary up there representing hip hop culture, because she is the hip hop queen, right? But culturally, but when we talk about different genres, they could have had a woman. There are many women who are pioneers in this game, that they could have, brought on board. So let's see what my brother has to say. The league spokesman, Brian McCarthy, said the NFL was aware that Eminem was going to kneel, because officials watched it during the rehearsals this week. That just disgusts me. McCarthy said that the players, coaches, and personnel were free to have taken a knee before Sunday's game, and that no one has been disciplined for taking a knee. Blah, blah, blah. I can't stand them. It just makes me mad. Hey, Miss Odessa. Good to see you. God bless you. Larry, that just bothers me. And so I read something a little different. I read that they were given all these parameters of not taking a knee, not saying that they hate the police, and they bleeped out Kendrick Lamar's line when he talks about his disdain for the police, and then did not. He changed the words. Excuse me, they didn't bleep it out. He changed the words. And then when Dr. Dre said he still don't have love for the police, it was played. So I don't know what was planned, what wasn't planned. I'm just glad that Eminem took a knee. It saddens me if he had to get permission to take a knee. It's a little frustrating to me. So anyway, I was just torn, and I'm still torn with the halftime show. Oh, and let me just make this clear. It was not the best halftime show ever, because y'all know I am a Prince fan, and y'all don't remember that Purple Rain falling down in the stadium. And listen, it may have been amongst the top 10, because Beyonce did her thing. You can't forget about MJ. So let us not get too ahead of ourselves. I mean, the set was nice. I heard Dr. Dre had to pay for the whole set and everything, which I don't understand, when the NFL got billions of dollars just in ads alone, thousands of dollars to pay for a seat to attend the Super Bowl. I'm just struggling. Mother Carolyn said, thank you for bringing out the problem of having only one woman. Yeah, you know how we deal with that, Mother Carolyn, all the time. And Tammy, yes, Prince was the best one ever. The best. The best. I could be biased, but it's the truth. It's the truth. So, moving on from the NFL, because we have a few other things that I wanted to talk about today. I was having a conversation with someone very near and dear to me, and I don't say names when I don't get permission to share their story. So, oh yeah, Bruno Mars and Beyonce was great as well. So yeah, let us not get too ahead of ourselves. I think it was something we needed when we haven't partied together in so long, and even though we were partying like separately in our own homes or our own smaller Super Bowl parties or whatever it was, we just needed that joy. We needed that music is life. Music is the language that brings us together. Music is what transcends space, time, age, race, cult. It brings us together, and it's storytelling at its best. So, okay, I'm gonna stop. I'm gonna go on, because I can really talk about this halftime show like the entire time. Because first of all, I really, really miss football. I've been watching football since I was a little girl. So I am going through, I'm having some issues right now. So y'all just work with me. Just work with me. So I was saying, I was having a conversation with someone who is very near and dear to me, and it made me think about um, Kanye West as well. But um, oh, hold on, let me see what Tamika has to say. It was bread and it was bread and circuses, to be honest. Yes, we needed the joy, but also to distract us, yeah, from the obvious racism. Absolutely. In the NFL. I got you. Yes. Hey, Cordio. That was for the kids who grew up in the 90s. Absolutely. It was for us. It was for us, for the culture. It was for us. So I was talking with a dear friend about mental wellness, mental illness, and how it's on this spectrum. Now, I'm not, and let me not speak for anybody on this thread or anybody who is watching this or listening later, but I am not a clinical psychologist, psychiatrist. I am not a therapist, so I dare not judge or diagnose or put someone in a box. I may say that somebody may need help, right? Might need some psychological help, might need some therapy, because they may show signs that I'm very familiar with. I have gone to therapy. I go to therapy. Friends of mine go to therapy. Um, and what this person was talking about was how mental illness or mental wellness is on this spectrum, and sometimes people pigeonhole you in this box of having bipolar or whatever, and it's not that simple, and it's quite degrading and dehumanizing when we don't have a license and someone is not officially diagnosed, when we make these assumptions about someone. And even doctors are now looking at these things more of a spectrum, because it's not a one size fits all. Whether it's autism, whether it's mental disease, whether it is emotional imbalances, there is a spectrum that they now have to look at. So it's no longer, if you do this, this, and this, it's this. Or if you do this, this, and this, it's that. So it offers us an opportunity to be gracious, to be patient, to be understanding, to listen, to pray, to give someone grace, to offer support, to offer guidance, to journey with, to if you can, if it is safe. Again, these I say these things during these broadcasts, not as a blanket statement or do all, be all, end all, but to offer a way that'll keep us safe, that will humanize us, that will love us, that will impart grace and mercy, that will impart a semblance of patience and love above all, removing the judgment and the stigma, because we are stigmatized enough in our communities. That happens enough for us, and we don't need that happening in our own communities and to one another. So just to shift a bit, I was reading an article. No, one, I can't think of her name. I think it's like Awesome Lovey or something. And she wrote a response to how people were degrading Kim Kardashian, saying that she deserved everything that Kanye is doing to her right now. And she needs to give him a break. She needs to do this. She. And as a domestic violence survivor, I felt awesome Lovey, because where is the accountability for Kanye and the abusive behavior based on the history of the tendencies of um, how people who are abusive behave? This is definitely a sign that he is being very aggressive and assertive, and with power and control, trying to control. Yes, thank you, Brandy. Thank you. Awesomely lovey. Yes. Um, so I just I want to offer us an opportunity here. As much as I could, a part of me could care less about celebrities' personal business, because I think that their personal lives are their personal lives, but they have lived their personal lives out front quite often, even before all the drama, when everything was okay. And now that things are, a bit tense, um, I want us to offer an opportunity to be very mindful of how we respond to this, and how there are plenty of things that I can name about Kim Kardashian that I particularly don't care for. And she's still a human being, and she's still a woman, and she's still a mother, and she is being targeted by her, I don't even know if they're divorced yet, her soon to be ex husband or her ex husband, by doing some very dangerous, threatening acts toward her. And if we sit by and stay silent, unfortunately, this may not turn out well for either one of them. We read about it, we see it all the time, and then we talk about it in hindsight of how, oh, I saw this, and I sensed something was going on, and now she's dead. He's dead. She shot him. He shot her. Whatever. Beat her to death. Those are real stories. And so this is a real story of two celebrities, but they are human beings, and we need to address, if we are in a position to address or speak life into this situation, and speak out against those that are putting the blame or the onus on Kim. I don't care what Kim does or did. It does not give someone the right to threaten or to intimidate or to use their false sense of power in such a heinous way. So Tamika said it may not turn out well for the gentleman she's dating, because Kanye fans are taking threats seriously. Absolutely, because he's naming the dude she's dating. This is serious. This is serious. And you see, every time on my ticker, I keep up the domestic violence hotline and the suicide prevention lifeline up there, because it is happening every day. It doesn't only happen during awareness months. And this is a prime example of what some people have to go through during a domestic violence relationship or situation, where they are intimidated, they are forced to be silent, they are forced to live in fear. And then, what if you do something or say something, are you going to end up being harmed? Is her boyfriend going to be harmed as a result of this? Because Kanye has a lot of followers. A lot of followers. So I say that to plant the seed, for us to be aware of domestic violence and the cycle. And when we see the signs, anyone can call the domestic violence hotline. If I am just curious about what to do to help a friend, I can call the hotline. If I know that someone is in trouble, I can call the hotline. If I am actually the one being abused, I can call the hotline. If I am the abuser, I can call the hotline. You can call the hotline and get the help and the support and the language and the countenance that you need to guide someone through this situation, so that we might live and not die at the hands of domestic violence. So with that, I encourage you to continue to live, love, and laugh. Continue to have these conversations. Continue to build community. This is how we build community. we start talking about these things. We don't judge one another based on what we see or where we've come from or where we grew up. And so we begin to honor and respect humanity first before we start judging people because of who they are and where they come from and their upbringing. And I'm talking about the Black diaspora. We'll get there when we talk about trying to reconcile, because you can't reconcile anyone or anything or any situation without some form of conciliation. um yeah, you can't do that, right? So but I think there is some healing that needs to happen in our community first before we go externally to seek healing, because we don't even know if other people want to be healed. That's another thing. I need to know that you care, and I need to know that you want to heal with me and that you are ready to rock with me, like Julie and others who I consider comrades, who are in this struggle with us, who are standing side by side, who are standing before us, who are speaking truth to power. We need that in our own communities as well. And then we partner with those who have proven to be comrades so that we can continue to live and not die at the hands of these systemic ills. I want to leave you with this. I was just watching Tamron Hall. I got out of a meeting early, and she had a special on just New Edition and how New Edition grew up in Boston projects, and they didn't even know if they were going to get out of it. And they just dreamed, and now they are about to start this 30 city tour and do all of this. And I'm a New Edition fan. I grew up with New Edition. And so I leave you with this. Your situation or circumstance definitely doesn't dictate where you're going and what your future holds. You can make decisions now and dream big, because you have the power for them to come into fruition. You have the resources. Everything you need is right around you. We must learn to be communities so that we have those resources to help us to grow and to do better and to do greater and to be the amazing people that we dare to dream to be, and be the co-creators that we are, and to be and to do the divine work that we are called to do. So it doesn't matter if I'm from Wagner well, it does matter that I'm from Wagner Projects, because I am from Wagner Projects. Born and raised, the first 30 years of my life was spent in Wagner Projects. Or if I'm from the suburbs or from wherever, there is some value and there is some love and some grace and some dreaming that is to be done, whether it's for myself or what I am doing for my community, or both. And how about that? We can do what we need to do for ourselves and for our community. That's right, Courtney. That rose that grew from the concrete. And I tell that story all the time. Repping Harlem, repping Wagner Projects every day, all day. I love y'all. I'm so glad y'all came and joined on today. Feel free to share this. This will be on a podcast version shortly as well. I love you dearly to the moon and beyond. Take care of you. Be safe. Make sure that you are putting yourself first, because we cannot pour from an empty cup. We cannot give what we don't have. So, thank you. I'm out.